Yeah, well, in the end, you're responsible for your child. We only can give recommendations. I always say it. When I see because I can read faces very good. If I see they don't like what I'm saying, then I'm always saying it's just what I, as a doctor and mom, sometimes I also say I would recommend. In the end, you do what you as a parent decide. So because I'm not your child's mom.
There are like more myths around like other.
Oh, there are so many myths, but before we come to there, maybe we can talk about more nutrition. We talk about foods.
Food.
Nutrition. That is another topic of, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so important because we know that especially during the first 1,000 days of a children's life, you set like the main, so it's like the basic for all the rest of the children's life. So it's really, really important. But I think at least what I experienced here in Berlin, and sometimes I feel like parents are more like distracted or worried because of all the things you hear. Like, do you give solid foods directly, or do you give the puree, the brei? What to do first with like first carrot or first this? And they get so confused by all these things you shouldn't do or should do or have to do that I feel like the thing about food they forget most is that, like you said, food is love, and it should be like fun, and it's a new person on this earth trying out food for the first time.
Yeah.
It's really
trying to explore.
it's really interesting, I think. So of course, nutrition is really important, and it's important that the child gets enough, and it's really important to like see that it's getting enough nutrients and everything. It is. But I think most of the time that is fine. I see many parents trying to stick too much to what they are supposed to do. And now my child is 6 months old and I have to give the first carrot, but only at 3 p.m. And
It's so sad.
I think it should be a little bit more
Fun and
flexible, because there are some rules, like please don't give your child something sweet to drink. Like water should be the main drink after they are finished with their age where they have their milk, their breast milk or formula. So please give your child water or maybe tea without sugar. Please give them a lot of vegetables, and a lot of plant food is always really important. And apart from that, I think we forget that it's about taste and fun also.
Yeah, that's true. I would definitely. There is so many information out there. Like,
Yes.
whatever you say, like, okay, I start with egg or whatever. I don't remember. I think avocado was easier because we were South Turkey. And I was giving avocado all the time because it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's so many myths around that, like how you're gonna feed and this, what it should be on the plates and so on. You're saying we can be chill about this, because I remember wrote down everything about like, oh, this food has iron, this food doesn't have iron, oh, this food has protein, oh, this food, like I was trying to make all these menus, which I never did for myself, but they in a balance.
I know that.
Balance in a perfect way. Yes.
Yeah.
I have all the colors here. Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah, I know. And I already said that food is very important, and it's great if it's very colorful. And of course that's a very important topic in the second half of a child's first life, between 6 and 12 months. They need so much iron, more than they will ever need in their life, probably, because they are developing so fast. And so it's really good to see that they get enough iron. So I would say there are some basic rules, like what I said about like the drinking water, about having enough plants, enough iron containing food, really. But apart from that, I'm a bit annoyed from this Instagram thing that's going on about people fighting because this is right and this is wrong. Please just look at your baby. It will tell you when it wants to have food. That's also a discussion where it should be started. There's this reflex, like the Zungenstoßreflex, like when they put everything out with the with the tongue like this. And if that's still there, you don't get food, and there's no way getting food into your baby's mouth, and then it's not ready. That's one of the signs where you see it.
Tongue out.
Yeah, so when you give like a newborn, you give like drops of a vitamin with a spoon. You notice that do like with this, because they notice, okay, there's something solid coming into my mouth that's not right. I only need liquids like milk. So they doing this. So in the beginning, when you start a little bit too early, you will see with the child it
Automatically reject.
do that like this, and then don't do it, because they always warn you, like, don't give your baby food too early. I don't really think there's a way to giving it too early, because you can start between 4 or 6 months. If you breastfeed, there are some advantages to start at 6 months, and until then give your child only breast milk, because it has a lot of advantages. So that's around the age. But apart from that, your baby will show you. It will show interests. It can move your hand to your mouth. This reflex is lost. If it's not lost, I think you can't get food, at least not without putting it like violently into the mouth. So I think there are signs, and you just have to look at your baby and have to trust your gut. I think these strict rules, and they are bashing like it's not too early, and some say, so the midwives always say not too early, and the bad doctors always say give it to your child really early. It's not true, I think. When you look around the world, what babies get as their first food, it's so different.
Yeah,
It's so different. Like, I have parents from different countries, and when they tell me I give my baby first food is like lentil soup or something, I'm like, well, yeah. And some parent from Prenzlauer Berg will tell you it's pastinake. Oh, it's only pastinake. So everybody will tell you something different, and I think it's fine. Also, there are some basic rules, like we don't recommend like raw things like raw meat or raw fish, only little salt. So there are some basic rules, but apart from that, just try it. So
Yeah. And you are also basically saying that, like, as the fever cases, like, look at your child, like, what she or he like telling you, like,
don't
you
ask ChatGPT for everything. Look at your child at least a little bit. I think it will tell you, and when the time is right, the time is right. And some children don't like solid food until they are like 7, 8 months old. Sometimes they are older, and then you have to take care of all the iron thing, because when you for example, only breastfeed, then there's not very much iron in it, and then you just have to take a close look. But still, some babies start eating with like 8 months, but the book says 6 months, and then you get really stressed out. Stressed out parents can't show their children how food can be fun, I think. So not a good thing.
Yeah, to miss the fun part.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, you said about this iron thing. That was really stuck with me for a while. Because it's also different in Turkey compared to Germany. So in Turkey, they provide, or the doctors recommend to use iron supplement for newborns after 4 to 6 months. In that period of time, they recommend to start without testing anything. Because the population show apparently iron deficiency in Turkey. Of course, I asked this question to my doctor. She was like, no, we don't need, we would see it from outside if your baby is lacking iron, but your baby looks fine and enjoying life, so it's not necessary. But then we made some research about like European studies to see like, okay, how is iron deficiency in general population versus immigrant population. Immigrant populations show some iron deficiency. I don't remember if Turkey was in there, but yeah, Turkish background, I'm not sure. So yeah, I was wondering like how German pediatric system, what do you think about this kind of like conflicts when parents has like what they see in their own cultures versus in their new country? Of course, I've given a little bit iron every time.
I did it anyway.
I just did.
But I was also afraid that, am I going to like use like if there's like iron situation
and I think that one of the worries I also hear a lot, like a lot of parents ask me, my child is sleeping more, I'm afraid it has iron deficiency, so I get asked a lot if we can check the blood, and that's the way we do it in Germany, because we don't give iron to children straight away, like from birth on, because we all also know that children who don't have an iron deficiency, it can cause harm to them. Yeah, of course, not if you give it every now and then, but if you give like higher doses of iron to a child who doesn't need it, it also can have negative effects. So we don't do that right away. Health recommendations are always based on the overall population in Germany. Those recommendations are also made for if there were like many immigrants who had iron deficiency, I think maybe the recommendation would change. At the moment, it's still the official recommendation that we do a blood test when we think the child could have it, like with prematures or very pale babies or like any other risk factors. And I don't think that you can say in general that like children from, I don't know, for example, Turkey, I don't think they automatically have a higher risk of iron deficiencies. There are some diseases that are less likely with the Turkish populations, like some hemoglobinopathy.
Yeah.
I don't know that in English.
Which is
Anemia?
Look like that, yes. And they have some of those more often than German children, but apart from that, they have like about the same risk factors, like how they were born, when they were born, how they get, what kind of nutrition they get, and so on. Our system right now is we look at the child again and we assume, okay, well, this baby, everything looks fine. That don't need iron. If they are premature, for example, they always get iron for the first year of their life because, you know, the iron, like the Speicher, they don't have so much iron in their bodies when they are born, like the storage, storage is not full of iron as with babies who are born later. So we give them iron straight away for the first year, but all the other children, we have a look at them, and if everything seems fine, we are fine. If there are any signs of iron deficiency, we take some blood and then we check how the iron and the blood count is. I don't know if that's ideal because we also know for German children, at least this Beikost-plan, so this plan how to give your child solid food. You know, there's an official German plan, like with 4 months you start with vegetables and then vegetables with meat and everything. When you look at that, it's not very much full of iron. So even if you give your child some meat, which not every family does, it's not very much iron that's containing in this plan. As I said before, babies need a lot of iron, especially between 6 and 12 months old. At least recommend food, cheese and everything that's full of iron. You should, yes, exactly. You should recommend these more, but still I check blood very often, and most of the time, luckily, babies and children don't lack iron, but from time to time is the case. So I think you really could discuss this topic, health system. First, maybe recommend food that's more rich of iron, because at the moment I think that's not the case, and to see if at least you check children from time to time if they have iron deficiency. To just give everybody iron for the reasons I already said, maybe that's not good, but it should be a topic maybe that's being discussed more. Yes.
So there are so many myths around babies, toddlers, and their development. Can you answer also many of those questions in German, by the way? I love them. I was also never sure about these myths and what is fact and what is myth, but I have some. So that's why I have some like questions. Maybe can we do quick myths and fact round together? And then I start with the first one. Co-sleeping is always unsafe. Is it true or false?
No, you can do co-sleeping in a very safe way, and it's very cozy. Especially when you're breastfeeding. It's very quick. So you can co-sleep. Just know how.
Formula-fed babies are worse off than breastfed babies. Is it true or false?
No. So if you ask me before birth, of course, I would always recommend breastfeeding because it is the healthiest. You can't say no to that. But if for some reason your baby is formula fed, it will grow and turn out perfectly fine.
Pacifier will mess up my kid's teeth, speech, or is it true or false?
Yes, all of that can happen, but it totally depends how often and how long your baby or your child is using the pacifier. So if it's like 2 or 3 years and then you stop and it's not all the time, but only in specific moments, only for sleeping, it's totally fine because especially during the first year can be really helpful sometimes.
Yeah. You should never wake a sleeping baby to feed. Is it true or false?
That depends. For the first at least couple of nights, you should wake the baby up because it will sleep the whole night sometimes and then it will lose weight. So for at least the first few nights or also days, it can be true, but from the point on where it's gaining weight perfectly and it's a few weeks old, it will wake up when it's hungry. And then you can just let it sleep, because some babies already at the age of like 3 or 4 months, they sleep through the night and you don't have to do anything about it if the weight is fine.
So lucky parents, you
Yes.
heard about it. Don't
You're,
wake up
you're,
your-
you're worried when the child is not sleeping, but you're also worried when it is sleeping. Because then it will starve to death.
Yeah, I remember first time when my child slept overnight.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like looking all the time.
Yeah.
Are they breathing?
You can't sleep because something is wrong.
I mean, you actually talked about this very clearly. Like, fever is dangerous and should always be brought down immediately.
Yes, it's not dangerous. You look at your child. If your child is in pain or not being well, then you get some medication. If it has 39 degrees fever and it's not a baby, then you just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. This changes if the baby is in the first year or...
Yes, especially the first 6 months. In general, maybe the first year would always be a little bit more cautious, but if it celebrated for its first birthday, I'm always a little bit, calmer.
So this is what my grandma also told me. Make them cry a bit. Because don't spoil them. Holding your baby too much or not letting them cry spoils them.
Yeah, well, please give all your love to your baby.
I
There's no spoiling. There's just loving your baby, and please don't let your baby cry on purpose. Sometimes it has to wait a little bit for something. But don't do it on purpose, because we know that babies who don't cry anymore, when you let them cry for a really long time, they just gave up. It's not a thing
It's
to
a neglect,
do.
like, yeah.
Sorry?
So it's like a neglect and
Yes,
like,
they
not
just
like-
gave up because they know even if I cry, nobody will come. And that's the saddest thing I can imagine. And I think there's even scientific proof that if you give your child everything it needs directly, and if you, I don't know, carry it all the time, and you never let it cry and everything, it will later be sometimes even more independent, because they found like a really safe space, and from there on it's always easier to leave, because they know they get everything
they need this when they
Yeah.
need.
yeah
Flathead, that was also my nightmare. Seriously, Milan lost her mind. Like, is this kid gonna be flathead? No. Flathead means poor brain development. Is it true or false?
And no, afflicting the brain, one will have to have a really bad flathead. First, it should be treated, of course, because it can have like with the motoric development, it can give some problems with holding the head. Of course, with the look of the face and the ears, it can all be like asymmetrical. Those are problems, but it normally doesn't affect the brain.
I see a lot of people are using this hand.
Yeah.
So many people are using, and I was wondering, are those kids really, or
Yeah.
ballers really have a flathead, or people
So,
aesthetically are
It's not very scientifically, not proven in a scientifically safe way that it really improves it so much. There are only always these photos. It costs a lot of money, and I think it's not very nice for the child to have this helmet, especially during the summer, to have this helmet like 23 hours a day, and it doesn't change so much. I think every doctor will tell you something different, because science doesn't have one good answer, and I think it totally depends, and it should be only discussed when the baby has like a really, really, really fat head and really asymmetrical, and nothing else helps, because you have like physiotherapy, we have different stuff, and also the head will, during the first year, it's still so soft, this bone is still so soft, it will change so much still, even spontaneous. So I think you should only maybe discuss it for some severe cases, because you don't know if it really helps so much. But
Okay. That was all.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you very much.
I have also a question in my mind that running in my mind time to time, quite different what we have been discussing so far, and I think it's also not perfectly related to your domain, but as you are like such a compassionate pediatrician, I think you might have ideas or like some recommendations. So what I wanted to ask is that about the bonding. So for the parents who don't carry the pregnancy, like fathers in hetero relationships or like in queer families with like adopted kids, how the bonding is like can evolve if there's not a medical biological relationship that you have during the pregnancy. Like, is there anything that you can recommend in that sense?
I think I know that no matter if you gave birth to the child or not, you can have the same bond. Maybe in the first days, of course, the baby is used more used to the mother that gave birth, to the voice. The baby knows this mom more. But apart from that, you just have to be there. You have to be like a consistent person who's always there, who's responsive to your needs, who doesn't let you cry, can have definitely the same bonding. It's about that. You have to be there, and the baby has to find out the person is always there. The person is responsive to my needs, and then you can definitely have the same bonds to a baby as the mom who gave birth. Definitely.
Yeah, that's nice.
Sure,
Because that's totally normal. If I didn't take care of my own child, like they could adapt to main caregiver, whoever that person is. Could be father, it could be in queer families, both. I think it comes with like what kind of relationship you put or if you're there.
And I think it's so that like the cliche thing is you have a mom and a dad, and it's very common that baby only wants mom. But I don't think it's because this person gave birth to the baby, but because it's there more often.
Yeah, main care.
It's the main caregiver, at least in most relationships. Sometimes they don't even try to, that the dad brings the child to bed or gets them to sleep. And then the baby learns, okay, always like my mom is here for that. And my mom always does it. And my mom always comes when I cry. But I think it can be exactly the same way for the other parent.
Yeah. So we can maybe wrap up slow. You wrote a book called 100 Fragen an deine Kinderärztin. Yeah. 100 questions for your pediatrician.
Exactly.
And it's only German right now. Do you plan to translate into other languages?
Well, it's not my decision, but I don't think it's planned for the future. Maybe some parents here also know German, so I think it's still a good book for looking all the basics up. Like my child has some kind of rash or is having like fever. We talked about what do I do now. Yeah, maybe in the future I would write another book, and then it will be hopefully also in English.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I mean, we can also use Google Translator.
And also
Well, for every page, well,
your videos also like very helpful with English subtitles.
yeah, I usually try to also all the questions I get so many times in the practice, but also when my friends ask me, because of course all the time, like nearly every day, I get all the same questions always, and I try to put them in the video so other parents know about that too.
Yeah, you have an amazing account, and both on YouTube and Instagram. That's very helpful. If you have questions, just check Frag Dr. Nele.
Yes.
But you also have one-on-one consultations, right? Who's this for? And how one can...
They're online. You just, for example, you can find it on Instagram, a link to the website, and you just book it online. It's a online consultation. You can choose if you want me for 20 minutes or for 50 minutes. It's basically for everybody who maybe has either a pediatrician who has very little time, but you have a lot of questions, or for somebody who has a pediatrician who is not really in the mood to answer your questions, or you're not very happy there, or maybe it's the weekend or it's the night and you don't have your doctor's office is not open, then you can book me. I do consultations with parents who maybe, like for example, want to talk about my child is being sick a lot. So is that normal, and what can I do? And normally in the doctor's practice, it's like, it's fine. And then the doctor leaves. But if you want to have more time with a pediatrician, and sometimes people follow me for now years and they trust me, for some kind of reason, and they want to talk especially with me and want my opinion. That also happens. Yes, it's just a good opportunity, I think, if you want to speak really what you just want to speak with me and you want to talk to a pediatrician like for a longer period than 3 minutes about a topic that that worries you or that you want more information to. It could be all topics. So it can be from vaccinations to my child is sick, or I wonder why my baby sleeps like that. So it can basically be any pediatrician topic you want. If you don't know if you can talk to me about that, you can just write me a message before and ask if I offer consultation about that kind of topic. If my English suits you, then I also do it in English.
I mean, that's definitely for me.
Yeah, for me, well,
You don't need to book it anymore. Now we know each other.
if you don't understand like why people are having these consultations, like you're already giving like so much assuring and like compassion and so that I think that's the one of the main reasons, and all the entire conversation was also so insightful and lovely. Thank you so much
I'm happy.
for joining us, Nele. I am pretty sure we might have you for another round, because like today was like already, if there are like some questions we couldn't cover today, but hopefully we can have you another time as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It was fun to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe wherever you are listening from. Follow us on Instagram and share this with person who you think need these infos. Thanks so much. See you in the next episode.